Well, you don't know much about crypto. You know nothing about nothing. You fake news.
Hey everyone, I'm Ashish Burla. Some of you may know me from my years at Ripple, where I helped Brad and the team bring blockchain to the real-world payments.
And even though the government is shut down, the Senate is working hard on getting market structure legislation passed for crypto, which is great to see.
Was this planned from the start? The Themes ETF just delayed its crypto ETF rollout until November 6th.
Securitize is a tokenization company. We reported that it is going public through a SPAC, a trend we haven't seen in a long time.
They try to shake me out, but I was born ready. Dropping down the price, then I be getting plenty. They want all your bags and they want all of them empty.
Generational wealth hasn't come easy, but they're making it easy to pile up on these bags, and there's no conspiracy here. Meanwhile, we got Epic, the XRP RWA network, now part of the Apple Developer Program. Welcome back to some more Moon O'Clock news. Good glitches. Appreciate you stopping by, tuning in. And remember, nothing in this video is financial or investment advice. Please always do your own research. Epic, now part of the Apple Developer Program, marking a new chapter in digital finance. Innovation. Apple powers over 1.5 billion active devices worldwide, giving Epic direct access to one of the world's largest consumer ecosystems on the planet. With a focus on payments, liquidity, and seamless user experience, Epic is building the next wave of financial applications designed for scale and built for everyday use. Epic joins the Apple Developer Program, building XRP native infrastructure at global scale. Epic. Brian Armstrong. Meanwhile, DC may be shut down, but momentum for market structure clarity is at an all-time high. He sat down with the Senate Democrats and Republicans who want to get this done. We're about 90% there.
Hey everyone, Brian Armstrong here. I'm back in DC, and even though the government is shut down, the Senate is working hard on getting market structure legislation passed for crypto, which is great to see. I attended some meetings this morning with both the Senate Dems, the Senate Republicans, and I'd say they're 90% on the same page. There's draft text being shared back and forth between both parties. Both sides want to get this done. That last 10%, there's a couple remaining issues open, like for instance, DeFi. We want to make sure that we're pushing to protect DeFi and all the innovation potential that can have, and that the centralized intermediaries in crypto like Coinbase should be regulated, not the protocols. And then of course, we're making sure to preserve stablecoin rewards for you as well. The big banks are coming for their cash grab, trying to block that, even though it was just recently decided in the Genius Act, which just recently became law. We're not going to let them relitigate that. So with these last few issues getting wrapped up, we're hoping to see this bill come out of committee by Thanksgiving. That would be a great outcome. Fingers crossed. We're going to keep showing up for your rights, and we'll keep you updated. Thanks.
Bank XRP. We got Ashish Burla from Evernorth XRP. The future of crypto is access, trust, and transparency. Evernorth XRP gives institutional and public investors regulated liquid exposure to XRP, and that value is compounding quickly. Featuring former Ripple executive Ashish Burla, who knows exactly where this is heading.
Hey everyone, I'm Ashish Burla. Some of you may know me from my years at Ripple, where I helped Brad and the team bring blockchain to the real-world payments. But today, I want to share more about Evernorth, a new kind of company built to provide institutional investors and public markets with exposure to XRP. Think of it as a publicly traded XRP treasury that gives investors simple, regulated, and liquid exposure to XRP. But with a twist, we aim to collectively grow our XRP holdings, and what we generate from the treasury will be used to purchase more XRP for the treasury. We've built an incredible team of leaders from crypto, capital markets, and finance. People who have been at the forefront of innovation, regulation, and risk management for years. Together, we're committed to building something enduring for the long term. And we're backed by a world-class group of investors and leaders, including SBI, Ripple, Arrington Capital, Pantera Capital, and Kraken, firms that share our conviction in XRP's future. So why now? For the first time, XRP has clear regulatory standing in the United States, opening the door for large-scale adoption. Evernorth is positioned to be the trusted, transparent bridge to the public markets. This is just the beginning, and I couldn't be more excited to build this together with the community at every turn. Follow along. We're excited for what's ahead.
We're at the doorsteps for institutional real-world adoption and generational wealth. Meanwhile, digital asset investor says, hey, Fidelity, digital assets, why do you ignore XRP? Where's XRP? Because of the little special opportunities they get.
Cool special opportunities. I think I mentioned the Solana trade we did with the FTX bankruptcy estate.
Yeah.
So we knew they would need to sell a bunch of Solana, and that they need kind of deep pockets, people that had capital locked up for a good period of time. So we ended up buying, I think about a huge chunk of Solana from the FTX bankruptcy estate at about 50 cents on the dollar. And the power of our new fund is evidenced in a slide we just put out in our investor letter called 2 Cubed Solana, where we have doubled the value of our Solana position 3 times by doing things like that. So we originally bought it at 50 cents on the dollar. The discount allowed us to double it. The price of Solana spot has actually gone up 84% since we started. It was at 150, it's at 240. So a normal investor would have made 84% if they bought Solana. We also staked it and made about 7%. And then the other ones, then we created the Solana company and contributed our Solana into that, and then that's gone up 2.4x. So our holdings of Solana have increased 850%. At the same time, Solana's gone up 84%. So
Meanwhile, Coin Bureau just in crypto.com files for a national trust bank charter application. Things are starting to heat up. Ripple Bullwinkle, they didn't delay the ETF launch. They timed it. They know what's coming and they're positioning around. XRP, this isn't a delay. This is a setup.
Was this planned from the start? The themes ETF just delayed its crypto ETF rollout until November 6th. If you ask me, it's not random. That is very strategic, because think about this. When the regulatory clarity clock runs out, Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, and Solana, they already told you which ones that they are setting up for. So why delay unless you already know what's coming? They're not guessing. They're waiting for the green light. This isn't speculation more. It is all about timing. The delays right here, I mean, it really does change everything, right? And just a 2-week delay, what is a 2-week delay really going to do? Well, they're waiting for that clock to run out, folks. That's why. These are all coordinated events. We talk about coordination a lot on the channel. The full breakdown, it connects every piece of the puzzle. I'll link it down below. You're going to want to check it out now.
The clock is ticking. TikTok. Good glitches. Meanwhile, watch your guru Justin. President Trump tells reporter, you don't know much about crypto. You know nothing about nothing. You're fake news.
Well, you don't know much about crypto. You know nothing about nothing. You're fake news.
You know nothing about XRP. All in crypto. Securitize is going public via SPAC, planning to be listed in the public markets with help from Cantor. Securitize has integrated Ripple's RLUSD into its platform, allowing investors and tokenized funds to exchange shares directly into RLUSD. Securitize tokenization tools and infrastructure directly linked to Ripple stablecoin and the XRP ledger. X marks the spot.
Securitize is a tokenization company. We reported that it is going public through a SPAC, a trend we haven't seen in a long time. The deal will value Securitize at over $1 billion, and it will be listed in the public market after.
And what's the benefit of Securitize going public versus staying private?
So it definitely is about gathering capital with a listed vehicle. They have a lot more flexibility in raising equity. The interesting about Securitize is that it actually is a vehicle or a company that is trying to turn illiquid asset in the traditional sense. For instance, think of like the KKR private equity fund or some sort of private equity fund that usually you cannot trade like a liquid asset. And with the tokenization, you can trade the exposure of these assets. So for this kind of company to go public in the traditional way, in a traditional equity market, that is giving a lot of testament to us how they think about the equity that will be available to them.
And you mentioned this would be through a SPAC, those special purpose acquisition companies. A SPAC that was started actually by Cantor Fitzgerald, which has a vested interest in the development of the crypto industry.
So Cantor is a very interesting company right now. It's at a very critical spot within the crypto industry. They really have built out the crypto investment banking coverage team. And with Hal Lutnick being in the administration and Cantor Fitzgerald, the investment bank being run by his son, this particular SPAC, it actually counts Brandon Lutnick, the son of Hal Lutnick, as the CEO and chairman. the company Cantor is also very close to Tether, and so there is a lot of their exposure to crypto that Cantor is in right now. They've actually raised 4 SPACs, and number 1 has already announced a deal. This we are expecting some sort of announcement in the near future, and we could see the remaining 2 potentially also going into something in the crypto world, but we haven't heard much on those yet.
Bank XRP, how things have changed. JP Morgan will now let institutional clients use Bitcoin and ETH as collateral. Oh, how things have changed. Here's Jamie Dimon in 2017.
Bitcoin hit a new high today.
I could care less what Bitcoin trades for, how it trades, why it trades, who trades it. If you're stupid enough to buy it, you'll pay the price for it one day. I've also told people that it can trade at $100,000 before it trades to zero. You know, tulip bulbs traded for $75,000 once, something like that. The only value of a Bitcoin is what the other guy will pay for it. And I think, honestly, I think there's a good chance that Bitcoin, a lot of the buyers out there are up there jazzing it up every day so that maybe you'll buy it too and take them out. And I quite mean that, by the way. You know, these people are very good at manipulating the press these days and getting news out. And so every day, you know, you have CNBC, nonstop Bitcoin. Who cares about Bitcoin? I mean, you know, the world's economy is so big. We move, JP Morgan alone, these companies, $6 trillion. We move all this money. And Bitcoin in total is all these currencies are $50 billion, maybe $1 billion trades a day. And the other thing I've always made of Bitcoin, governments, and this is not a technological statement, governments are going to crush it one day. Governments like to know where the money is, who has it, and what you're doing with it.
JP Morgan to allow Bitcoin and Ether as collateral and a crypto push. Jamie Dimon, you still there? We got one from Flare Networks. Why mint FXRP? It's 1-1 with XRP while your XRP remains on the XRP ledger and FXRP goes to work on Flare.
Today we'll be discussing FXRP and why minting it brings DeFi yield opportunities and utility for XRP holders. FXRP is a one-to-one representation of XRP on Flare. By minting it, your XRP stays safely on the XRP ledger, while FXRP becomes DeFi ready on Flare. This means FXRP can be put to work in lending and borrowing, liquid staking, and liquidity pools. This turns XRP from an idle asset into productive capital that can earn yield. Now that we've seen how FXRP can be put to work in Flare DeFi, let's look at what makes yield on Flare stand apart. Unlike DeFi platforms that rely solely on inflationary rewards or token airdrops, Flare yields are powered by real yield. Real yield is return generated from genuine on-chain activity, such as lending interest, trading fees, and staking rewards. What are the benefits of real yield? Real yield has 3 key advantages. It's sustainable, it's transparent, and it's trusted. Real yield is more sustainable because it's directly tied to real activity on-chain. Real yield isn't dependent solely on constant token emissions. Real yield is also more transparent, since all yield sources are fully verifiable on-chain. The final key advantage of real yield is that it's trusted. Public companies like Vivo Power and Everything Blockchain Inc. are already deploying XRP into Flare DeFi, proving that real yield meets institutional standards. To recap, minting FXRP turns XRP into productive capital and unlocks access to sustainable, verifiable, and trusted yield. Thanks for tuning in. Check out our other F-Assets video explainers in the description below.
With that being said, good glitches. We should have known that generational wealth wouldn't come easy with all the FUD since inception until now, with the SEC lawsuit and them trying to shut down the XRP ledger. However, there's no conspiracy here. Everything is simply connected. If you connected the dots, you know what's coming. They know what's coming, and they can't stop it. All roads lead to the bridge. XRP, X marks the spot, and the longer they take, the higher we keep climbing on that XRP. Richless. Appreciate you stopping by, tuning in for another one. Good glitches. Check the links in the description. As always, nothing in this video is investment or financial advice. Always do your own research. Smash them likes and subscribies on the way out. We'll see you at the tippy top. Later, glitches.
Later, glitches.
No matrix time. Unplug from the matrix, it's our time to leave. Bank money gon' pump us to infinity. Hey, we holding up the light, the holy trinity. We punching out the clock and we finally free. Hey, traveling different islands, moon party overseas. Hope you got the prize, a couple NFTs. Hey, cause soon Batman be ghost, you won't be seeing me. Bunch of copycat clones wanna be me, ayy. Tried to give them light, but they still can't see. When we finally taking flight, moon command of the fleets. Kept adding to the bags when the price was cheap, ayy. We leaving the world behind, taking flight overnight. 4-3 to the tune, change up the whole vibe, ayy. They screaming one more moon party, one more night. The mothership blast off, yeah, we taking flight. Leaving the world behind, yeah, we gone for life.